Go big or go home. You need to be all in. Focus, 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 right? That's what we hear. But what if it doesn't have to be that way? What if it didn't have to be all in or nothing? What if you could fit your goals into your life without sacrificing other important things to achieve it? Well, I'm here to tell you that the all in mentality can actually prevent you from hitting your goals. It may seem counterintuitive at first, but it's actually rooted in several psychological and practical factors. There are definitely seasons of hustle, yes, but that's all it should be, a season. So if it's longer than that, then it will lead to burnout and unfulfillment. And the reason I know is because I've been there. And you will start regretting your goals or seeing them as the enemy. Let's dive into this topic today. Welcome to Pursuing Goals God's Way. I'm your host, Gabe Cox, and here we're all about clarifying your goals, planning with purpose, and eliminating distractions. We'll dive into simplified online business strategy and marketing without the pressure of social media or hustle culture. If you've been wondering how to turn your passions into purposeful work or felt overwhelmed chasing big goals while juggling family life, and you're ready to do things differently, allowing God to guide your steps, then keep on listening. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Pursuing Goals God's Way. I'm your host, Gabe Cox, and I am excited you are here with me today. If you've ever felt torn between going after your goals and spending time with your family, or if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to be all in 100% of the time, then this episode is for you. We're going to dig into why the all-in mentality might actually be holding you back from reaching your goals and how to pursue them with balance and grace. You're going to learn how to make room for both your ambitions and your family without feeling like you're failing at either. This episode is going to shift the way you think about your goals and how you go after them. But before we jump in, I want to remind you about Finish Line Goals, my self-paced program designed to help you create a personalized goal strategy that fits your life without all the stress or hustle. It's packed with tools and insights to help you move forward without burning out. You can check it out at redhotmindset.com/FLG and get started today. Jenny S. from On Dog Training Academy had this to say after going through the program. I've always been a big dreamer, so I figured goal setting would be easy. But the Finish Line Goals coursework guides you to dig even deeper to reveal your heart's truest desires. Listening to her passionate audio lessons brought me to tears a few times because I began to realize how surprisingly blocked I was. I am so thankful for finding Gabe and for the wonderful course she put together. It made me see that I've done some amazing things in my life and I have so much more I want to do. Thank you so much, Jenny, for those kind words and that insight of what Finish Line Goals did for you. So if anyone is as you're listening to this episode today, if that's you, I encourage you, go check out Finish Line Goals and join us today, redhotmindset.com/FLG. Now, if you're anything like me, you have some pretty big dreams and ambitious goals. Whether it's growing your business, nurturing your family, or making personal strides, I know the tug you feel. But have you ever felt like you had to choose between those goals and your family? Like maybe to be successful, you'd been told you need to go all in or not even bother at all, right? Well, today we're flipping that narrative on its head because as a mom, entrepreneur, and someone who's walked the marathon of life, I've learned that going all in can actually keep you from hitting your goals. You don't need to sacrifice your family or fall into the overwhelm of the hustle mindset to get where you want to go. In fact, there's a better way to fit your goals into your life with grace without losing what's most important to you. So, what's the trap of the all in mentality? We've all heard it, right? Go big or go home. It's the message that tells us if we're not giving 100%, we might as well not try. It sounds motivating, but here's the truth. That mentality can trap us. It's a false narrative that sets us up for imbalance and burnout, especially as moms who are balancing so much already. I remember when I was training for the Boston Marathon, juggling motherhood, running a business, homeschooling my kiddos, and managing the household. It was a lot. I thought I needed to give everything 100% all of the time, but you know what? That led to exhaustion, frustration, and honestly, resentment toward my goals. Here's the thing, you don't need to be all in all of the time. In Ecclesiastes 3:1, we're reminded that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. There are seasons where we can pour ourselves into our goals, but there are also seasons for rest and connection, and that is okay. So, friend, give yourself permission to have seasons where your focus shifts. Where can you ease up right now? Identify one area where you've been pushing too hard and think about how you can let go of that pressure. I know for me, I've really shifted my focus in business to focus on three pillar things: my podcast, my email nurturing, and collaborating with others. And this has really helped me to not push into the hustle, not try to be everywhere and everything to everyone. Hustle culture tells us to keep going, to keep pushing. But let's be real for a second. Can you really enjoy your success if you're too exhausted to celebrate it? I hit this point myself, and it wasn't my goals that were the problem. It was how I was pursuing them. It took some serious reflection to realize that I didn't have to choose between my goals and my family. It was possible to balance both. It wasn't either or, but about creating boundaries that protected both. Here's a practical step for you: create boundaries around your work and your goals. Maybe it's setting a work window or integrating family activities into your daily routine. For me, that looked like adjusting my schedule and asking for help when I needed it. Boundaries are what allow us to thrive in both areas. So start small. What's one boundary you can set today that protects both your family time and your goal time? Maybe it's as simple as setting aside 1 hour a day for focused work. So, what about fitting your goals into your life and not the other way around? Because I think that's really, really important. Putting our goals into our lifestyle instead of making our goals our life. What if you didn't have to choose between both goals and family? What if instead of trying to force your goals to fit into some impossible ideal, you found a way to fit them naturally into your life? This is where we shift our thinking. When we prioritize fitting our goals into our lives, rather than trying to mold our lives around our goals, we reduce the pressure on ourselves. One way to do this is by using small pockets of time wisely. So, for example, when my kids are at practice or have downtime, I use those moments to work on my goals. You don't need hours of focus each day to make progress. Little by little adds up too. God blesses our small and faithful steps. So, look for natural breaks in your day where you can spend 10 to 15 minutes working toward your goal. It might not feel like a lot or sound like a lot, but every minute can count. It could be while your kids are at practice, during your morning quiet time, or in between other tasks. Progress doesn't require perfection. Okay? Step by step. So let's talk a little bit more about the hustle culture because it's something I see all around us. You know what I mean? Everywhere you look, there's this message of grind now, rest later. It's almost like we wear busyness as a badge of honor, especially us women. But friend, I want to challenge that. Yes, there will be seasons of hustle, and that's okay, but they should be just that: seasons. They're temporary, not a permanent lifestyle. I want you to think about this. Even Jesus, who had the most important mission on earth, took time to rest. In Mark 6:31, we see Jesus telling his disciples, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." He didn't tell them to keep pushing, to keep going until they had nothing left. No, he knew the value of rest. Yes, he pushed. Yes, he hustled, but he also took time out to refuel. You and I, we're not meant to be in perpetual hustle mode. We're not machines. God didn't design us to be on 24/7. We need seasons of rest to recharge, to refocus, and to hear from Him. Think about it. When you're running on empty, how clearly can you hear God's direction for your life? Probably not at all, right? Now, I know I've been guilty of trying to turn a season of hustle into a lifestyle. I felt like if I wasn't working hard every second, I wasn't doing enough. I kept pushing myself to the limit, thinking that would bring me success. But you know what happened instead? I burned out. It was mentally, emotionally, and physically draining. And I didn't even have the energy to celebrate the progress I had made, nor had I felt like I made any progress at all. That's why it's so important to understand the season you're in. There will be seasons where God calls you to work hard and to give it your all. Maybe it's when you're launching a business initially, or working toward a big milestone, or taking care of a particular family situation. But those seasons aren't supposed to last forever. One of the best things you can do is learn how to recognize when it's time to pull back. It's not a failure to rest, it's necessary. Just like running a marathon, there are moments when you push and moments when you pace yourself. Imagine trying to sprint the entire 26.2 miles. You'd burn out fast. Life is a lot like that. There are times for sprinting, but we can't sprint the whole way. We need to walk sometimes and we need to take breaks. Take some time to reflect on where you are right now. Are you in a season where God is calling you to hustle? Or is he calling you to rest? And maybe it's a mix of both. Maybe you're trying to hustle, but feeling that nudge to slow down. Don't ignore it, friend. I've ignored it way too many times, and it doesn't ever fare well. God often speaks to us in those moments, guiding us to step back and realign our priorities. I've had seasons where I've hustled hard, training for marathons, building my business, and raising a family all at once. But I also know the seasons where I've had to pull back. A few years ago, after completing a big marathon, I felt this deep need to rest, but I resisted it. I thought resting meant I wasn't doing enough. It took me some time, but I finally let myself slow down. And actually, I was forced to slow down because I broke my ankle running. Okay, God, I hear you. I'll slow down, right? Sometimes we're forced to slow down. And it was in that quiet season that I gained clarity on what God really wanted me to focus on. I heard his voice in ways I couldn't when I was constantly moving. It's amazing what God can reveal to you when you stop long enough to listen. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or like you're on the edge of burnout, maybe it's time to take a step back. Ask God to reveal to you what season you're in. If it's time to hustle, he'll give you the strength to press on. But if it's time to rest, he'll give you the peace to slow down. And I'm going to be honest with you, even in my business, sometimes when I slow down is when I actually speed up because I slow down and my business keeps growing. And that's really a testament to the fact that we need to take these breaks. We need to be able to pace ourselves in a way that's going to work into our lifestyle. So I encourage you to take some time this week to pray about the season you're in. Ask God to help you discern whether it's a time to push forward or a time to pull back. Remember, resting isn't quitting, it's preparing for what's next. Whether you're in a season of focus or a season of rest, both are necessary parts of the journey. So take a moment this week to journal about the season you're in. Is it a season for focus or a season for rest? What steps can you take to find balance? And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if you've ever felt like you needed to choose between your goals and your family. What would change if you knew you didn't have to? Friend, I hope today's episode encouraged you to rethink the all in mentality and gave you some clarity on how to balance your goals with the rest of your life. Remember, it's okay to have seasons of hustle, and you're probably supposed to, but they're not meant to last forever. Listen to God's leading and trust Him to guide your steps in each season. And if you're ready to start pursuing your goals in a way that fits your life without the overwhelm, don't forget to join me inside Finish Line Goals at redhotmindset.com/FLG. It's full of practical steps to help you achieve your goals God's way with peace and purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave a review if you haven't already and share it with a friend who needs to hear this message. And as always, in all things, I pray you just run your race. I believe in you.